Hello, my name is Kerryoth, and today we are going to have a little chat about the Orks, because we already have Ghazghkull on his way back. We know this, we've seen him, he is an absolute animal, one could even say that he is some sort of beast, and that's good, obviously. We need a new Ghazghkull, especially one that is like the heft, chonk and girth of a Redemptive Dreadnought. I mean, it's no more than he deserves. Ghazghkull is a legend, and it's taken a while. It's taken a while for him to get his appropriate sort of format, model-wise. But there are a lot more Ork models that really could do with some sort of update. Now, of course, we do have a bunch of stuff that came from Orktober. We've got so many new vehicles. I mean, if you want vehicles, to be honest, with Orks, you are pretty damn set for decent vehicles. The battle wagon still looks great. You've got various trucks and scrap jets and all sorts of nonsense going on there. I would argue as well that their aircraft are still just classic quality models. They look great. But the infantry is somewhat lacking. Luckily, I think some of that is going to change soon. Now, I don't think it's going to be a case of literally every single Ork model is going to be replaced. I don't think that's the case. But I do think we are going to start seeing some gradual updates to them. Kind of the proper, more aged, ancient kits may well get some sort of update. Hopefully in the not too distant future. Now, there's a few different Rumour Engine images that lend credence to this. There's a foot, a boot, if you will. There is also a hand with a pair of binoculars that initially was thought maybe to be Catachan, but the more I look at it, the more I'm leaning towards Orks. And there is the most recent Rumour Engine image, which looks like a very orky contraption of some sort of spear buzzsaw arrangement. Now, these are actually compiled together by Warboss Kurgan on Twitter, who has an amazing Twitter account, by the way. Some really awesome hobby on there. And looking at them in combination, to be honest, there's a decent amount there to suggest that, at the very least, some of the like the commandos, for instance, the commandos are prime for being revamped, for being updated, for being brought kind of, I'd say, up to scratch. They don't look terrible, but it's a kit that could do with a bit of an upgrade, and to be honest, things like the boot and the binoculars would easily fit into that. The big stick with the buzzsaw on the end is maybe not quite as simple. That could apply to be honest, a lot of Ork stuff, in fairness. The thing for me is less kind of like what is going to be replaced and more what needs to be replaced, because much though I would like to see an updated Ork Boys box, I will say at the very least that is a plastic kit. That is something that is currently, I mean, it could do with being updated, it could do with being modernised, with being revamped. The fact that it's like 20 years old, I mean, when I built my Ork army in 3rd, I used that box. That's not changed, that is exactly the same. Which really does, I mean, it ages it quite a lot. But the thing is, although they're not new, although they're not shiny and revamped and reimagined like so many things we're getting at the moment, they are serviceable. It's not a bad kit, to be honest. It still works pretty well. It still looks okay. It would be nice if the Orks could maybe be a little bit bigger, a little bit, I was going to say a bit less hunched. No, I don't think that would actually work, because it's so ingrained in what we know of the Orks for them to have that kind of hunched over, hunched posture that changing it probably wouldn't sit very well, in fairness, but it's not the worst kit ever. It still looks okay. It still holds up pretty well. It doesn't look like it was, like it's lagging massively behind so many others. And of course it is in what I would deem to be the right material for mass production of stuff anyway. I mean, I say that with, I don't know how many Forge World models at this point, but plastic is still my preferred. It's still the thing I prefer to work with. Resin is fine, but I wouldn't want to put together, 20-man squads using it. That would absolutely wreck me, and I would not enjoy it. The Ork Boys, whilst they are old, they are still serviceable, but they do have the same issue that a lot of the Xenos races have, where you have the more specialised units that just aren't really... They're just not good to work with, and they haven't been for quite some time. They haven't been kept up to date. Now, with the Rumour Engine images that we have, which, should I remember, will be on the screen so you can see them all the way through, that does point to me like kind of specialist stuff, that we might see Orks actually get an updated commando squad that, you know, with the stick, with the blade on the end, that could apply to any number of things, obviously, but it does give me hope, and it does make me think that Ghazghkull is just the first. You know, he's not the only infantry model to get reworked. Obviously, Makari as well, he's being reworked, although that's not really the same thing. We are actually going to see something else. We are going to get something beyond just him. Maybe not at the same time. In fact, I would be surprised... At this point, I'd be surprised if we got a box. I think probably what we'll get is we'll get Ghazghkull and Ragnar as separate, just individual characters to buy. I'll be surprised if we got any like orc infantry with him, but it definitely feels like something is on the way, that we are going to get something to bring their infantry sort of back in line again. Don't get me wrong, I like the orc vehicles that are available now. I like the range of them, the fact that there are so many, and the fact that they did get that not insignificant drop in terms of like size of model. At least the stuff they got for October was okay, but in a way I don't think it actually addressed some of the biggest issues that range has, which is infantry, old infantry that looks okay, but just could do with updating, like a lot of the Xenos catalogue, to be frank. I mean, although it applies to Imperial Guard as well. That is an army that could do with some form of update, but it feels like there's a lot of Xenos stuff that is just... It's okay, you can use it, it's fine, but it's not up to date. It's not been refreshed recently. It's kind of waiting in the wings. And having that big drop of vehicles, if anything, kind of highlighted that fact that it's a case of, okay, that's grand, but we didn't really actually need that, so to speak. There are other things that perhaps would have been better suited for having some sort of like refresh or revamp. But it is clearly on the way. It's just a case of waiting to see what it's actually going to be. And the fact that it is on the way is... It's something. It's something. It's better than nothing. And that combined with Ghazghkull is... I would like Orks to get more in general. I mean, I want that for all the Xenos races, to be fair. But I have a special place in my heart for Orks. And there are just parts of the line that make me sad that I would like to see replaced. Not least that Death Copter that's still up. But we've talked about that before, repeatedly. Fucking model. Anyway, we're going to get some more. What they're going to be, I'm not really sure, but there is movement, and it's better than nothing. And that combined with Ghazghkull, it makes that little bit in my heart that is still a deep green happy. What do you reckon it's going to be, though? That's the thing. We've got the 3 Rumour Engine images. What do you reckon it's going to turn out to be? Do you think it's going to be multiple kits? Do you think it's just going to be the one squad? Do you think they're going to refresh a couple of things? Or if it's just going to be a singular replacement? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that shit. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link for Element Games in the description. You know how it works. If you use the link and buy something, I get something for sending you that way, and you save a bunch of money from buying from Games Workshop directly. It's just a nice way to support the channel when you buy your plastic crack that you're going to buy anyway. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.